Hello everyone, Alan McCannon here. Today we're going to talk about foot positions and how foot positions relate to break points. Also we're going to talk a little bit about how to prevent some arm swinging and shoulder swing. First off, we're going to talk about is, as a general rule, the rule of thumb for a right-handed shooter is belly button in the low house window, which would be this position right here. And if you notice my feet, they are basically pointed toward the low house window. Now, because a right-handed shooter, empty gun, of course, everyone, mounts the gun across their body like so. They're not out here like this. They mount the gun across their body. That means that a right-handed shooter can turn or shoot farther going from right to left than he can from left to right. So for that reason, when I set up on station 2 here, my feet position is somewhere between station 5 and station 6. Now what this does is when I mount this gun on my break point and I turn back to my hold point, I have loaded my hips. In other words, I've twisted, so if I relax, the gun or my hips automatically rotate. And what this does is it gives a shooter a real good smooth start. All they have to do when they call for the target is just start to relax, and it starts the drive of the gun, and you don't actually have to do all the driving to start with your legs. So we're not going to shoot any today, but if I wanted to back my break point up on the high bird, I would turn my feet just a little more, maybe straight toward station 6. And because of being used to the shot and where you are turning, your body gets used to the feel of where you're taking the shot. So if you're used to standing like this and you move your feet back or turn more toward the low house, then you're going to be in that turn and you're going to be at that same point quicker, which means you're going to take the shot a little quicker. Now, I do not change my foot position on station 2 for the high house, low house, or doubles. I have one foot position, and some people do a little changing, a little tweaking. But just remember, everyone is different. So, if I set up like this, and I I'm letting my natural body start the gun and swing the gun, and I don't have to make a hard drive with my leg. And this keeps a lot of jerk out of your move. And because a right-handed shooter mounts the gun across their body, but the way I've got my feet set up, I start binding up if I get way over here. And I like that because that makes me take the shot out here where it needs to be taken. It keeps me from riding that low house, that long incoming target. So I hope this makes a lot of sense to everyone. We're going to move over here to station 3, and we're going to talk a little bit about station 3 because that is a station where we start our shoot-off doubles, and we'll talk about the foot position there. Okay. if I'm gonna shoot high 3 single, I basically stand with my belly button more or less facing the low house like is pretty much the rule of thumb. And that gives me plenty of swing on this high house target. I can even back it up a little if I want to and face the out of bounds marker. But same thing here. I'm gonna put the gun at my break point, and I'm gonna rotate back to my hold point, mount my gun, go to my look point, call for the target, shoot the target, take the gun down. Okay. And with my feet like they are now, I change my feet for the low house target, because if I stand here, it allows me to carry the target all the way past the high house if I want to. And I don't need to carry that target that far. I need to break this target right out here on my side of the field, just past the center stake. So I turn more and face basically station 5 for the low house target. That makes me go ahead and make this shot instead of just riding it and riding it. Now remember, everyone's different. A lot of people stand back of the pad and one side of the pad to the other. I'm always right up here at the closest point to where I'm going to break the target. Now, because I stand like this on the high house target, I'm used to breaking this target just before the center stake, which is actually a little late for shoot-off doubles on station 3 or doubles on 3. So I'm used to getting to that position, bam, so my body knows right there is where I'm going to pull the trigger. So it's in that position. So I turn and basically face the center stake for my doubles. What that does is when my body gets to that same turn, I'm about 15 or 20 feet. My break point moves back to about 15 or 20 feet before the center stake. This way, I hadn't got quite as much rotation or load in my hips. And this load in the hips, guys and girls, helps with the start of the gun, and it also helps prevent pushing the gun with your arm swing. So I'm set up for my doubles. I look at my break point, I turn to my hold point, I mount the gun, I look for my look point, look at the target, pull, bam, bam. I'm keeping everything right here. I'm breaking both targets about 20 feet on this side of the center stake. And by moving my feet, the move and the turn feels the same. So I hope everyone understands where we're going with all this. We need to teach our body where that break point is in our turn. And once we've learned that, then we turn our feet back, and in that same turn, we're going to want to break that target because we're accustomed to that spot in our turn of pulling the trigger. That gives you break that first bird about 20 feet, 15 to 20 feet before that center stake. You got plenty of time to follow through, look up, see the second target, mirror it, pull the trigger and break. And basically you'll put them right on top of one another. You know, a good way to watch and see if you're doing what you're supposed to do is after you shoot the targets, if you look up and you see those wads in the air and one's following the other one, you pretty much got it right. We'll move over to station 4. Now, when we were on station 3, we need to remember that's a high house first target. Station 4 here, you know, we've got a high, a low, we've got a high bird first and a low bird first. So on my high bird first, I'm going to basically stand facing the low house window. That's on my single. I'm going to hold my hold point, my look point, same thing. I'm going to shoot the high bird, bam. I'm used to that turn. But remember, I want enough turn in my hip where when I relax, the gun automatically moves. I do not have to drive with my legs. In other words, I don't have to do this with my legs to make the turn happen. The turn is already built into my foot position. Now, when I go to doubles, I'm basically going to do the same thing I did on 3. I'm going to face the center stake. That's going to make me take this first shot on 4 quicker. It's going to make me break the target, or I should break the target, because I'm used to the turn 15 to 20 feet before the center stake. Same thing with on 4 is 3. You know, I shoot the first bird, I look up, the second bird is right there. I'm not chasing it. The gun is still in front of the target. I turn the gun around with the target, and I come back and I break the second target. Now, station 4, low house first. When I shoot the singles, I move from this side of the pad to this side of the pad. My foot position is basically facing station 5. Why is it facing station 5, not station the low house? Well, because I'm a right-handed shooter and I can turn a lot farther this way than I can this way. So that is the reason that I stand this way. And on the low house target first, unlike shooting the high house targets first, I use this same foot position on doubles as I do singles, because I'm already setting up on the low house to make this shot quick. You know, it's a good idea if a person can get used to breaking his first bird where he's going to break them in doubles when he gets there. But everybody can't do that. And the reason that I favor changing my foot position on the high house first on doubles is you get a windy day like today and the targets are bouncing around and different things. Gives you a little more time if you make a bad move or something happens on that high house. You know, you say, well, why don't you do that on the low house? Well, I've got plenty of room with this foot position to carry that low house further than I need to anyway. And depending on the targets at the club, sometimes I might turn my feet just a little more to the right of station 5 if I'm having a tendency to want to carry this first bird too far on the double shot. So, remember, we're trying to get used to this turn and where it's going to make us break this target. And like I said, on the low house first, I want to be set up to where when I make that turn, I start binding a little in my hips if I go past the center stake. So that basically makes me want to take a shot out here 15 to 20 feet before the center stake on the low house first, on doubles on 4. We'll move to 5. And I apologize, we're having to move the camera and keep the film rolling because it's kind of hard to do this and make several different takes. So we try to do all this in one take, so you'll have to excuse the crudeness of our production here. All right, high bird. Basically, I'm going to face the out of bounds marker or just to the left of the out of bounds marker. I do not face the the low house on station 5 high house. The reason is it's a long incomer and I do not want to ride this target way over here next to the low house. So I'm set up to where if I carry this bird, if I start carrying this bird too far, I start binding a little in my hips or running out of swing. So that makes me out here in the middle of the field where you really should take this shot. Okay? Now, when I go to the low house, I basically am right, my foot position is right here. I am facing station 6. I am to the right of the low house. And this thing, you know, right-handed shooters face the low house, left-handed shooters face the high house. That is, people need to understand, that is only a starting point, and you have to work things that best work for you. You've got to play with these foot positions a little bit. So, and after 19 years of this, I've played with them about every way you can play with them and found what works best for me. Now, on this shot, I'm facing just to the right of station 6. I still have a little turn in my hips, but not as much as I would say on the high house side. But I've got enough turn in it. When I go to my hold point, I still got a little bit of hip load to make me start to swing and make me start to swing smooth. Use the same position here, foot position here, for singles and doubles because of the same reason on 4. I do not want to carry this low bird too far, because if I carry it too far, then I'm going to be shooting the high house target as it's going away. I want to shoot this high house target right straight out in front of me. So I want to break this first bird 15 to 20 feet before the center stake. The other bird then will be 15 to 20 feet on the other side of center stake. Gives me time for a good follow through, look up, find that second target, and move, turn the gun with that target. So many shooters want to turn the gun, want to shoot the first bird, bam, and turn the gun around over here, thinking the target's already over here, and it's not. You got to make that turn, find that second bird, and then turn with it. Do not turn until you have acquired the target. Also, another thing that shooters tend to want to do is they want to try to see these shots on doubles real clear. You know, they want to see this perfect picture both ways. You do not have time for that. Trust your subconscious, trust what your body's telling you, and pull the trigger. It's just that simple. You have to learn to trust what your body and your eyes are telling you without thinking about it. We'll go to station 6. Okay, station 6. I'm going to stand right up here on this corner, and my feet is in a imaginary line. If you drew a line from the high house to the low house, a straight line, my feet are parallel with that straight line. I stand this way for doubles and singles. Now, when I turn back to the high house, I've got some load in my hip, so when I relax, the gun starts doing this. I hold right across the far corner of station 8. That every field has a station 8, and that is a good place to hold and be in the same hold point every time. Now, when I go to the low house target, I'm going to start out about 3 to 4 feet out from parallel with my hold point. If your field has